When it comes to playing paranormal games, my advice usually tends to be pretty simple. And by that I mean, don't do it. Ever. Sure, I'm about to tell you how to play 5 games that I wish would never be played ever again, but I suppose if you feel possessed to do so, at least please do it safely. Question for you, have you ever played something demonic? Let me know in the comments and let's get into it. Alrighty everybody, we're starting off today with a game that has plenty of coverage on the interwebs of Hell Gone Wrong, The Three Kings. If we've learned anything from horror and sci-fi films, it's that making contact with another dimension is never a good idea. But hey, maybe it'll work out just fine for you. To play this, you're gonna need 3 chairs, 2 mirrors, a fan, at least 1 candle, and an alarm clock, among other things. After the extensive prep, at exactly 3:33 in the morning, during the cursed hour of the night, you'll need to sit, holding the candle, looking straight ahead for an hour, during which time you'll apparently access the mysterious shadow side. What is it? Well, you'll just have to perform the ritual to find out. I did find some Reddit retellings from folks who have okayed it and had it go wrong, so let's discuss one in particular. They deviated a little bit from the instructions, which is so stupid, but whatever. So they set up the 3 wooden chairs, borrowed 2 big mirrors, and used their grandfather's watch as their power object. So, it's stupid AM, and they ventured down to a basement alone. It was pitch black down there, and our narrator was shaking like a leaf. Wonder why? They sat down between the mirrors, staring into the darkness, trying not to freak out, because apparently the atmosphere was so intense, our narrator could feel somebody else in the room with them. So they sit there, trying to keep it together, and started seeing movement in the mirrors, even though they weren't moving. It was like something was trying to get their attention, and to the shock and surprise of nobody, our narrator was freaking the heck out. But they kept their cool, tried to focus on not looking directly into the mirrors. But that's when things get weirder. They started hearing murmuring all around, like people talking in hushed tones, and it was so freaky that our poor player was like, okay, I'm losing my mind. And then they asked if they were alone, and they got some creepy responses, being like, someone who knows, yourself. Which it's like, okay, game over. That's when the voices also started saying things that hit way too close to home, stuff about our player's past, deepest fears. It was like they were trying to mess with their head, and well, it worked. At one point, our poor victim felt like something was right behind them, breathing down their neck, and they felt their heart pounding in their chest, and they were like, okay, I want to get the heck out of here. But they were kind of frozen in fear. And then, just when they thought it couldn't get any worse, candle went out. The player tried to relight it, but it wouldn't catch, and they were sitting there in total darkness. That's when they ran like hell, flipped on the lights, feeling like they just survived a horror movie. Yeah, I'm not surprised, but hard pass never playing that for me. Next up is a game I feel like some of you might know about, the Gallery of Henri Beauchamp. There is a lot of room for error in this one, and apparently one wrong move could be your last. Like your eyes could shrivel up, your nightmares could come to life, your body could burn from the inside. We love spontaneous human combustion, and you could also be sent straight to hell. Well, I'm going there anyways. There's a ton of steps to this ritual, and it begins by stepping into a particular small bar in Paris. You'll be asked in clear and perfect English, what would you like to partake of this glorious night? And no matter what, you gotta answer absinthe. The next question will regard the type, and you gotta say one of 2 things. The stuff that man himself could not bear to take, or the good stuff, the best stuff, whichever one you answer. Whichever one you can remember. If you ask for any other absinthe in any way, you're gonna be plagued by nightmares for 13 days. If you make it that far before sealing your fate, the bartender's gonna say, be sure you handle this with care, this is the finest I have. Now from here you also have a multiple choice situation. Say, word for word, I overestimated my fortitude and I bid you good eve. So that's how you get the heck out of there. Other than that, good luck, go on. So you're gonna be given a glass with a 7-sided rim, with each side twisting ever so delicately around the basin until forming a sleek and simple handle. You're also gonna receive a very, very, very special absinthe spoon in the shape of a key. The holes at the key's top serve as the draining point for the booze to pour over the sugar cube. And of course, an unmarked bottle, stripped long ago of its label, scraps of paper sticking to its sides, covered in the rot of decades past. So the spoon's completely flat, but it has 2 distinct sides, one with a groove along the shaft of the key and one without. So turn the shaft down, so its groove will be face down. Now if your spoon is the right way up, begin preparing the absinthe as one would. Say cheers to the barkeep, bottoms up, and if you've done it right, the already dim lights are going to go off, darkness is going to consume the bar. Don't be afraid, this is the cue that you've been approved for the exhibit. So eventually, a green floodlight's gonna shine brightly on a door on the far wall. The bar is gonna be bathed in green, the barkeep, he's gone. So take the spoon and put it into the keyhole of the green lit portal's doorknob. It's gonna fit perfectly, and reach the end of the keyhole with a resounding click. Inside is a small elevator with the most beautiful woman any mortal eyes can imagine, bathed in green glow and such an angle that the light refracts beyond her into the shape of wings. So the green fairy is going to ask you, going up? And considering all the trouble you just went through, you're going to say yes. So she's going to ask, as you cross the line from the bar to the compartment, how would you compare Beauchamp's surrealism to that of, say, René Magritte? And for that you must say, I've come to see more than art tonight. If you don't say that, well, the light's gonna blow out, the doors are gonna slam shut, elevator's gonna plummet through a seemingly infinite blackness before red lights grow brighter, and then, well, you've reached hell. But if you do get through all the hurdles, you say the right thing, you get kissed by a fairy, and you're filled with creative inspiration for the rest of your life. And of course you get to see Beauchamp's paintings for yourself. Sure, this sounds like fun, but that's too many steps for me to remember. Next up, a cozier game, the bath game. So while washing your hair, you must repeatedly say, Daruma-san fell down, until you finish. You're going to visualize a woman falling, her head hitting a rusty tap that impales her through the eye, after which, well, she dies. And the next day, it's said that the ghost of Daruma-san will follow. If you try to look directly at her, she's going to disappear, but if you keep glancing behind your right shoulder, you might get a glimpse of the one-eyed ghost. At which point, you can perform a chopping motion with your hand, while shouting, Kita, in order to escape her and win the game, as long as it's done before midnight, that is. We've got a pretty mainstream game next, Hail Mary. Does this game have a much more mainstream one? Sure, but the interweb platform doesn't like the B word, so bear with me. Originally in history, Mary wasn't summoned for the purpose of eye gouging or other macabre reasons, but to show a woman her future. So you're gonna do a candlelit ritual, and if you did it right, you're either gonna get a glimpse of your future husband's face, or you're gonna see a skull. So you're gonna die before marriage. But hey, I think that's still less horrifying and way more depressing than today's version, in my personal opinion. Since I know this is what y'all are waiting for, I will detail the spooky Mary ritual. So for this, you're gonna need a mirror, the classic, candles, preferably black, yellow, purple, or white, and matches or a lighter. All the basic game things. The game starts by turning off all the lights in the house, or at least the room you'll be in. Arrange all but one of your candles around your mirror, or on the sides of the mirror, minus the one that you're gonna be holding, because you gotta make sure you see things. So light all of them, including that one, and once you're calm, close your eyes and begin spinning in a circle while chanting B-L-O-O-D-Y, Mary 13 times. Try and visualize the entity as you chant her name, and after the 13th chant, open your eyes and face the mirror. You're either going to see her form in the mirror or only catch a glimpse of a shadowy figure leaving the mirror before, well, she mauls you. Those who have seen her and survived her encounter have described her as a rotting skeletal figure with nothing more than red discolored bones, long sharp nails, rotting flesh, clumps of matted red hair. Some say she's eyeless, and other folks say she's wearing the eyes of her past victims. And even more people are like, she's gonna drag you into the mirror to live with her forever. Demon doll lovers, this last game is for you. One man hide and go seek. This is a game that has deep roots in a ritual, specifically necromancy. So in this game you summon a spirit into the body of a doll, who then plays hide and seek with you, which, hey, on the surface seems pretty innocent, but if you're familiar with any creepy doll lore, I'd kinda recommend against it. Now while I'll tell you all how to play this, please don't. Please, please, please. But hey, the information's already out there, so I might as well make sure you're getting the facts, the warnings, and try and save a life. So to play this game, you're gonna need a doll, scissors or something else sharp, red thread, the sewing implement, rice, hair and or nail clippings from yourself, salt water in a cup, a working TV, and be in a bathroom. Now, this ritual needs a lot of work, so take this as a warning. Also, you're gonna have to name the doll. This isn't gonna work if you haven't named her, so give her some sort of name, wasn't your name. So to make my life easier, instead of saying insert name here, I'll name my hypothetical doll Annie. Once you have everything, go into the bathroom and cut the doll open. Remove all the fluff and filling, then restuff it with the rice and the clippings. Sew the doll back up with the red thread, use any remaining thread to tie up the doll. Run a bath filled with water and put the doll on the sink counter and go to your hiding spot. Place the cup of salt water and the sharp object on the floor of said spot. Now once the time reaches, you guessed it, 3 a.m., tell the doll, Annie, is it? 3 times. Go into the bathroom, put the doll into the water-filled tub, and then turn off all the lights in your home. After you've done that, go to your hiding spot, turn on your TV, close your eyes, count to 10, and then pick up the sharp object and go back into the bathroom. The doll should still be there, and say to the doll, I found you, Annie, and after you say this, you have to impale the doll with the sharp object, place the doll back onto the counter, and run back to your hiding place. Don't take the sharp object back after you puncture the doll, by the way. Now that you're in your hiding spot, remain silent. If anything happens to your TV, like flickering, images, turning itself off, that means the spirit and the doll are near. After you've been hidden for a bit, you have to take half, or as much of the salt water as you can, into your mouth. We're not swallowing it, just hold it in your mouth and search for the doll again. and make sure you bring the rest of the cup of salt water with you. Once you have found the doll this time, and hopefully it's still in the bathroom, you have to pour the rest of the salt water onto it, spit the water in your mouth onto it, and tell it "I win" 3 times, which ends the game. Once the game has ended, dry the doll and burn it. If there are any remains of the doll left, put salt on it and discard it far, far, far away. And hey, a couple of little things to keep in mind. If you have your phone, keep it on Do Not Disturb, have the brightness at its lowest, and also just don't use it. Try to stay calm, stay silent, especially if you think the spirit's in the room with you at any time. Try to keep all the doors unlocked in case you need to bolt at any time, but that's only in case of emergencies. Otherwise, try not to leave the house because, well, spirits are gonna have fun. Keep some salt with you because worst case scenario, you're gonna wanna line the door to the room you're in, and also keep some religious tools with you if it makes you feel safer. Also, try not to hide in any places where you could get cornered. And above all, use your common sense. And that's all from me, folks. I've been Alexa, your resident Yuki Spooky Girly, and hey, if you were entertained by my ramblings today, could you help us out by giving this video a like, subscribing if you aren't already, hit the bell for more paranormal content from us here at Top 5 Scary Videos, and I'll see y'all next time, you lovely spooky people.